Well, hey, there you are, Sonia here. Welcome to Sonia's Sermonettes. Well, we've rolled into another new year, 2023. I've seen so many years pass by throughout the course of my life. And the fondest memories I have, sometimes at church, were what they call the New Year's Eve watch night services. Many people participated in it. And what they would do, they would gather in early that evening on New Year's Eve and plan to stay throughout the evening until 12 o'clock rolled around. And they planned having big meals afterwards. And one of the oddest things that I first experienced, I was quite young, was when they had foot washings and they also had communion. And it was a thrill to watch some of the older saints. It seemed as if they were the ones that enjoyed that the most. I don't know how they stayed up so late because most of the time they went to bed with what my folks used to say with the chickens. But they'd stay up and they were prayer warriors now, I tell you. But I remember one time especially where they had the low wash pan and they had water and towels, and some of the younger saints would wash the elderly people's feet, and they just turned about and did that on each one that was willing to participate. And some of them old saints, I tell you, they get to shouting and praising God and slamming them feet in that water and splashing water all over. Some even got up and moved around, and I thought, now, wait a minute here, Lord. This is a hardwood floor, and their feet are wet. But you know, they moved around and praised God and walked and carried on. Never once did they slip and fall. They would have a wonderful time. If you just went to watch them, you enjoyed it. If you went to participate, you more than enjoyed it. And then after they had their foot washing and all the towels were put up and the pans were all cleaned up in the water, the preacher would actually warn the people ahead of time before they had the foot washings to make sure that they didn't have any holes in their socks and to be sure to wash their feet before they came, which was humorous. But then they would have the communion, and that was another experience to enjoy and for those dear souls to participate in. And they'd have the communion, and then when the preachers, sometimes they'd have singings, and sometimes they'd have various preachers come in and give a little sermonette or whatever and share what they thought the new year might bring. And one of the things that a lot of people did back then was they were wanting to know what the next year brought as far as what was in store for them in the future, and would there be any prophecies about what would take place in the upcoming year. And they really enjoyed that, and a lot of people did participate in that. You don't hear much of that anymore. Of course, I don't get out and about anymore, so I don't really know what people are doing out there. But that's okay if they don't. But you know, it used to be just quite an event, quite a celebration to celebrate passing the old year out and the new year coming in. And then a little bit before 12 o'clock, everybody gathered around the altar, pray out the old year rather, and pray in the new year. And man, you talk about some old prayer warriors. Those dear blessed old saints, they prayed. I'm sure that it just shook the gates of heaven when they prayed. Why, their voices was just raised and high, and some were singing and some were waving their hands and some were weeping and crying. It just truly was an experience. Now later on in years, as I was holding house meetings, what we called home meetings, we always had a New Year's Eve watch. Now I didn't stay after 12 because I was having to drive home, and I didn't like being out around 12 because I've seen what it was like out there. And after 12 especially, you want to be sure to get yourself in some place where it's safe if you could. But we'd have our little home meetings, and we always had such a delightful time. We just had a small group of people that we'd known for years and years, and oh, we just looked so forward to it. Had good meals and some good hot coffee and what have you, some brownies and just all kinds of goodies they had. It was a celebration as well. Well, we didn't have communion or foot washings, but that was a day that they did, that I enjoyed watching. But now, today, I wonder what you've done on your New Year's Eve. Did you celebrate it? Did you pray? Did you seek God? Did you ask Him what was in store? Did you want to know what the future might hold? Well, a lot of people like to do that and do readings and what have you, but if God wants us to know what's in store, I think what we can do is actually open up the Bible and we can read and find out what's in store. We can actually see the signs of time right now and all the things that's going on. But also I was thinking about what Jesus said to people like you and I and all the people throughout the course of their lives. Be not weary in well-doing, for in due season you shall reap if you faint not. And he also said, be of good cheer. I like that where he says be of good cheer many times, because this is a lot of things making people sad and discouraged and upset, shortages and I don't know what all going on, diseases and this going on, that going on. But Jesus said, be of good cheer. And he said, I'll never leave you nor forsake you. Now this upcoming year, I pray that you just stay focused on God. Get closed in with Him. Get shut in with God, like that song, in a secret place. Some of you have never experienced what I just shared with you about the old New Year's Eve watch night services. And I pray that this touches your heart and causes you too to want to just seek more of God and get closer to Him. And just hang on tight, for I think it's going to be one magnificent ride this oncoming year. And they that hold on to God and have faith, they shall be overcomers. And those that do not, we need to pray for one another. We need to work together with one another. Not work against, not speak against, not talk badly about, but to lift up all of God's creation and His children and this world, and to believe God to give us the best that believe Him. I pray you have a blessed year, and I look forward to the next time. And so, dear friends, until next time.